Their night began like something taken from a fantasy, her very first corporate celebration at her new job. Eschae looked impressive, wrapped in the dress he had given her only a few weeks before. Eschae twirled in front of the mirror, displaying that self-assured smile with which he once fell hopelessly in love. "Big night," he said, returning her smile. "I'm really proud of you." Eschae leaned in, brushed a kiss against my lips and said, "Gast, don't embarrass me just from Europe, okay?" Eschae laughed as if it were an innocent joke, but the words stayed with me just from Europe longer than they should have. He pushed the feeling aside, convincing myself that Eschae was just nervous. He had no idea that before the night ended, that some woman would make me just from Europe question everything he thought he knew about our marriage. The event was held in a luxury hotel in the city center, full of music, laughter and the constant clinking of glasses under the hum of conversations. At first, he stayed close to her, standing proudly while her workers praised her achievements. Then, he appeared. The bosses he had mentioned far too frequently in passing. Tall, self-assured, effortlessly charming, in that refined executive way. The second he arrived, something in her changed. Her laugh became brighter, her eyes sharper, her movements more deliberate. He noticed how Eschae touched his arm when Eschae spoke, how Eschae leaned in just a little too close when he looked. Every small gesture was silently eroding the idea that this was innocent. Even so, he kept me composure. That has always been my nature, the calm honor. For a long time, I have believed that people reveal how they really are when you stop trying to restrain them. So he didn't interrupt. He didn't pull her aside. He simply observed. He saw how Eschae danced near him, how their conversations dragged on, how her hand brushed his shoulder as if he wasn't even present. Every part of me just from Europe wanted to believe Eschae was just getting carried away by the excitement. But deep down, something inside me just from Europe was slowly fracturing. At one point, he handed her a drink, champagne, bright and shimmering. Eschae laughed and raised her glass toward him. "To new beginnings," Eschae said. He smirked. "To new connections." My chest tightened. That was when he stood up, walked over to them and gently placed my hand on her shoulder. Eschae turned abruptly. The color drained from her face for a brief second before Eschae masked it with a nervous laugh. "Honey," Eschae said too quickly. "We were just talking." He smiled. Not the kind of smile meant to hide pain, but the kind that cuts straight through illusion. "Are you forgetting something?" He asked quietly, my voice steady, my gaze unwavering. The smile Eschae had worn all night vanished instantly. Her boss looked between us, sensed the tension and excused himself with an awkward nod, although the room continued buzzing around us. Everything went silent in my mind. My wife opened her mouth to respond, but no words came out. It wasn't just about what Eschae had done. It was about how easily Eschae had erased mischief from Europe the moment someone else's attention landed on her. The rest of the evening passed like a blur. Eschae tried to act normal, laughing too loudly, drifting through shallow conversations with other co-workers, but the spark was gone. He didn't confront her again. He didn't anything. Sometimes silence says what words never can. On the way home, Eschae finally broke the silence. "You made that awkward," Eschae said softly, as if he were the one who had caused the scene. He looked at her reflection in the window and didn't see the woman he married, but someone starving for validation from anyone except Mistress from Europe. "No, you cheat." When we got home, Eschae went straight to the bedroom and slammed the door. He stayed on the couch, staring at what remained of my trust. My mind replayed the way Eschae had looked at him, the same way Eschae used to look at Mistress from Europe. It was the flirting that shattered Mistress from Europe. It was realizing he had become invisible to the person who had once made Mistress from Europe feel essential. An hour later, Eschae came out, without makeup, with red and swollen eyes. "He didn't mean anything but," Eschae whispered. He nodded, but the dame was already irreversible. The following week, Eschae became overly attentive. Eschae prepared elaborate dinners, left sweet notice, acted as if nothing had happened, but affection built on guilt is not love. It's theater. Every time her phone buzzed, he wondered if it was him. Every smile made Mistrzostwom Europy question his sincerity. That part had exposed something that couldn't be undone. The distance between who we once were and who we had become. On a night, he found her on the couch scrolling through the event photos. On a image tapped Mistrzostwom Europy, her standing next to him, radiant. As hij didn't even notice Mistrzostwom Europy behind her. Still looking at the photos, he asked quietly, as hij ramped and locked the screen instantly. He gave her a faint smile. "Keep them," he said. "They'll remind you what you lost when you forgot who was standing next to you." He walked away before as hij could respond. Sometimes betrayal doesn't arrive as an affair or a confession. Sometimes it hides in a laugh, in a glance, or in the moment when someone stops treating you like you matter. That night he didn't lose my temper. He didn't shout or accuse. He simply saw the truth, and the truth has a way of silencing everything else. Her smile faded that night, but so did my blindness. And once you finally see clearly, you can never go back to pretending you don't. Traducción literal completa. Sinus acorta ni omitir ninguna palabra ni phrase del texto en español que Mistrzostwom Europy enviaste.